just a reminder to use idle to experiment, and when you hand in the assignments, use the .py file. So the idle or any interactive environment should only be used as planning and experimenting and checking things out and answering, I wonder what would happen if I did this. And then once you perfect everything, and as you pretty much practice things, you should then put in the final product in your .py file. Now, one of the differences between idle and the actual .py file is you edit a .py file on Windows in like Notepad or Notepad++ or VS Code, and to get to the idle, of course, in Windows, you just type in Python, and in Mac and in Linux, you type in Python 3. Now, one of the differences between the idles on Windows versus Linux and Mac is that for some reason on Windows, when you type in Python and press enter and get into that interactive environment, you wind up not being able to use the tab button like I use it. So one thing is, if you're on Windows and you want to go to idle, unfortunately, you're going to have to go to your Windows button, like your start button, and search for Python idle, and you should see it. It should be like with a white background and dark lettering. Click on it, and then you'll be in the official Python idle. In Linux and on Mac, you'll note that there's really no difference between the interactive environment you get to from your command line interface or terminal versus an idle that might come with the proper downloading of the package. Let's go ahead and take a look at a quick example. All right, let's take a look at like this assignment right here, this very assignment. So it says for this assignment, stores your first name as a variable, use all lowercase numbers. So we're going to go to idle, and then we'll say we'll say first name equals Jason. And then we can skip this and then prints out hello first name with the first name converted to uppercase. So this is where experimentation comes into play. So we could say, wait a second, this is a string. Is there a certain method that this string can be converted to uppercase letters? Well, what are the methods of a string? So we can say first name dot and then press the tab, and here are all the methods. Now, again, if you're on Windows, you have to go to idle. In Linux and in Mac, the interactive can just be gotten to just by typing in Python 3 and pressing enter. In Windows, you type in Python, press enter, and you get some sort of interactive environment, but you don't get a chance to utilize the tab button. So one thing you have to do is you have to go to your start button and then go to idle from there. Anyways, you will get a chance to get a chance to take a look at all of these methods. Now, taking a look at this, you can take a look and say and look to see that, hey, there is an upper method name right here. So you could say upper, and you can see that it does show it turns it into upper. But if you go to first name and press enter, it still shows Jason in lowercase because strings are immutable. So in other words, you would probably have to do something like this: first name equals first name dot upper. Now, if we go to first name, we can see that first name is now converted to uppercase. So those are the things that you have to do to follow these instructions. What if, for example, your password had to have a special character in it? So we have E, and then now does that password have a special character in it? Yes, but how would we get your computer to test whether or not it has a special character? And second of all, how do we define a special character? So we could define a special character that is not an alphanumerical character. So we could say password, because it's a string, we could take a look at all the methods that are available to us, and we say we have is alpha right there that is available. So we could say password, and then we could ask ourselves, how do we, for example, look at each character one by one to test whether or not each character is an alphanumerical number? And that's is alnum, is either alphabetical or numerical. That's this one right here, this method. How can we test each character? Well, we can use a for loop. So we could say for I in password, and then we could say I dot is all num, and we could see that it clearly says all of them are except this $sign, so that's false. So that's one way we could check to see if there is at least one character that is a special character. Now, how would that translate into a .py file? You can establish maybe a reference variable, ref equals 0, and you could say for I in password, and then you could use the if statement. If I dot is all num equals false, then we could say ref plus equals 1. All right. So we could say ref, and it added 1. So if you could follow my logic, we could say if ref is greater than 0, then the password passes that test. If this is making sense. So I'm just saying that you should utilize all kinds of for loops and if then loops to solve and create a solution. And you do that you can try that in the experiment in idle, and then when you're done experimenting and you're ready to integrate what you've done in a .py file, that's when you put everything in the .py file, and that's when you submit the assignment utilizing the .py file.